Hey y'all, it's Andrew Reed with Mossy Creek Mushrooms, and that came out fast. Today we have a special treat for you guys. We, in our Discord server, so shout out to the Discord, had a really cool thing happen where we've had some people starting to pull together and starting to make really content for other people in our Discord beyond me making stuff. So this is a network deal with the Mossback Syndicate. When I say deal, I just mean like the informal deal. There is no formal deal here at all, and it's literally just a talk on social media. But this was put together by some of our members, namely Jesse Campbell and Krista Dittenber. Oh my goodness, Krista. Sorry, your last name is really hard for me to say for some reason because of that soft R. Anyways. Jesse and Krista did a really good job of really organizing this whole thing and putting it together, and then basically just going, hey Andrew, can we? And I was like, yes you can. And then I promptly got sick, so I am not actually in this talk at all. Samantha took my place and covered for me very well, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys got to see some of the things that are happening here. This is kind of the first of a more formal hangout where people are actually discussing social media strategies and different things that we can do to help our businesses. But there are a lot of informal discussions that happen on our Discord channel. And hold on, sorry about that. Had some kids screaming. So that's what I get for picking the kids up from school and bringing them back over here before filming this. But anyways, where was I? Oh, this is just a video where Jesse recorded this whole thing for us and put this whole social media, I guess, class together. But we have other things like, I literally saw Ben Dueling of Sporadic on one day and asked him to help me show some people how the HRVs work when made out of chloroplast. And he pulled out, he's like, oh yeah, I've got this little model here. Let me show, you guys how I built this and what the theories behind this is. So I'm going to plug the Patreon just a moment. I think Jesse does it a few times. I really don't want to be plugged much at all. So I'm not looking to get rich off this or anything like this. I just want to show you guys what kind of what we're doing in the Discord together as a group, as a Mossback Syndicate. So please feel free. Patreon, like I think it's as low as $3 to get into the Discord. That way you can do it through consults or mentorships. It's enough plugging of me. Let's go back to Jesse and Krista and other people in the group. And how about I just shut up and get out of the way and let you guys see what they're capable of doing. So with that, y'all. Oh, I almost did I said with that, y'all, and I forgot. Keep spawning culture. Keep spawning culture. Don't stop spawning culture. Just keep it going forever. Be, consistently spawn culture.
Good evening, and welcome to the Mossy Creek Mushrooms Mossback Syndicate Discord channel, Mossy Chat, on social media marketing. Today we're going to have a presentation about social media marketing. If you own a mushroom farm or you want to promote your business on social media, this is the presentation that you're going to want to see. Before we get to the presentation, I want to talk about the Mossy Creek Mushrooms Mossback Syndicate Discord channel. You can get access to the Discord channel by going to the patreon.com/mcmushrooms. If you sign up for the Mossy Creek Mushrooms Patreon, you can get access to the Discord channel where we discuss things like sterilizers, grow rooms, airflow, sterilizers, easy bake barrels, and so on. We're a really tight-knit community, almost like a family. We've met up in Tennessee, where just a couple of weeks ago for the Mossback get-together, and we had a great time, and we had bagging Olympics and stuff like that, where Samantha Reed destroyed everybody and won first place in the contest. And we hope to do that again soon. So if you guys want to join the Mossback Syndicate Discord channel and just sit down and talk mushrooms with people, check it out. I'm Jesse with Missing Meadows Mushrooms and MushroomKitClub.com, and I'd like to introduce to our panel. And first off is Samantha Reed from Mossy Creek Mushrooms. Andrew Reed is currently sick right now, so Sam is going to take his place. And welcome to the Mossy Chat. Sam, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, I'm Samantha Reed. I'm Andrew's wife as well as myself, and Discord was kind of began as this place where we could collectively come together and that we could share our ideas and share our issues and our problems and troubleshoot just the industry kind of in itself and all of our experiences, and just have a place to go where we could collaborate and also experience that camaraderie that we really enjoyed having with one another. So I'm really, really happy and honored to have everyone here. A lot of you guys are faces that I see on a nightly basis or in messages, and it makes me very happy to have everyone on. So yeah, I don't think I need to say much else about myself. This is more about Jesse and Chris and Krista and their efforts in kind of bringing this to you guys and sharing it with you and their story, and I really want to highlight them and their hard work. So thank you guys for joining us.
That's a really great segue because and you and Andrew gave us, as a Discord community, the ability to just kind of drive this project on our own, which is really awesome. And we hope to have the ability to do more of these chats in the future. So if this video does make it to YouTube, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, do us a favor, like and subscribe to the Mossy Creek Mushrooms YouTube channel. If they get enough likes and subscribes, it will show Andrew and Samantha Reed that you really appreciate content like this, and it'll give us an opportunity to do more chats like this.
And post those comments to let us know what you're interested in hearing.
Post those comments. And speaking of which, Krista is she's the backbone to all of this. She did all of the coordination and the everything that it took to get everybody to come together for this. So Krista, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
I'm Krista. I'm from Michigan. I've been growing mushrooms for about a year. I've been a member of the Mossback Discord for about just as long. Watching Sam and Andrew's videos really inspired me to get into the hobby. And the knowledge that I've gained from everybody in Discord has been invaluable. You've given me the courage to try experiments and the opportunity to learn from your mistakes. Save me so much time and money. I will be fielding questions today in the voice overflow and might pop into conversation every once in a while if there's a good one.
So if you guys have any questions, make sure you post them in the voice overflow, and Krista will interrupt the discussion, and we'll get those questions answered. And without further ado, I want to introduce Chris Moore. Chris Moore is from Elite Business Advisors, or Elite Business Advice Podcast. It's available on iTunes and Spotify, so check it out. I've listened to several episodes, and it's really awesome. I met Chris because he was my mentor during the SIUE, SBDC, Metro East pitch competition. And it was a small business grant opportunity. Out of 30 plus contestants and small businesses, Chris mentored me to achieve the second place prize, which is really cool. And like, in all honesty, the guys that won first place, they were well deserving. We all knew they were going to win first place. But so I'm very happy with second place, without a doubt. Couldn't have done it without Chris Moore. So Chris, without any further ado, I would really appreciate it if you introduce yourself and then talk about the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it, Jesse. I appreciate you guys having me on here. It was really funny. I got to be 100% transparent with you guys. When I met Jesse at the startup competition, and we're sitting there, it's kind of a networking event, and he told me that he grew mushrooms and was telling me about his mushroom company. I had no idea any of this existed. Like, obviously, I know mushrooms have to grow so that I can eat them on my pizza, but I literally had no clue there was a whole thing involved with this. And so it's been pretty cool to kind of, get to know a little bit about the business, and I got to hear his story, and he really filled me in a lot. All the stuff you were just talking through, Jesse, about all the technical stuff you guys have been on Discord, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm just going to smile, pretend, and I kind of do the same thing sometimes when I talk about business and marketing. So I'm trying to put this in a very simple and easy to understand and apply way. So but no, I appreciate the introduction, Jesse, and we work with a lot of small business owners in a lot of different industries. We do a lot of stuff with contractors and all over the place. And there's really two areas we really help people in their businesses in, and one of it's finances, on the financial side of business, helping people with their profit and loss and all those different things. And the other piece of it is marketing, and that's what Jesse asked, if we'd be interested in doing something with this. It was probably when you heard the social media podcast we did, and I'm going to steal half this content from Jeff. I'll give him credit later on in the presentation. But, we really believe that social media is a huge aspect of marketing. And there's really a lot of different reasons. I mean, the first thing is the branding opportunities, to be able to, use social media to brand yourself, brand your business, in every different way, shape, and form, right? Through the pictures you post, the text you post, the way you have your profile set up or your business page. And I'm going to talk about both of those kind of simultaneously here throughout the evening. There's so many different opportunities that you can use social media to show what you do for a business, right? Who you are as a person. And so, I think really utilizing that is the first step. The second thing that's great about social media is the familiarity. It's the repetition. When people always see your business name and your business and your business and your business, it's a good thing, right? Some people might get sick of it, and guess what? That's why there's that button that says unfollow with 3 dots on there, and they can just unfollow you if they want to. But you want to drive the familiarity home with people, and there's some strategies we'll go through here this evening on how you can do that. My favorite part about social media is that it's free. You don't have to pay to have a Facebook account. You don't have to pay to have an Instagram account, a YouTube account where this is going to go out to. You don't have to pay for that stuff. Yes, you can pay to advertise, and that's a whole different ballgame. And I'm not even really going to get a whole lot into that tonight. We may hit on it if we have a little bit of time later on. But, you can really do a lot of organic outreach through social media without spending any money. And I love that if it's possible, because I am a big proponent of running a lean company, running a profitable business. And so the way you can get the most input with the least amount of expenses is a win-win until you have to pay your taxes, but we're not going to go into that tonight. So the fourth thing is the awareness and publicity, right? To make your business known out there, that it exists, to let people know that Elite Business Advisors for us is an option to the small business community. And so we use social media to, let people know, hey, we're here. If you need something, reach out to us. Use us as a resource, like Jesse, asked us to come on here with this tonight. We won't say no. We may have to push it off for a while, but we won't usually say no to something if we can add value to a small business community. And then the last thing why I feel like social media is important is just, I'd say changes in society. I didn't really know a good word to use in here, but people are on their phones a lot, right? You got 5-10 minutes. You're waiting on an appointment. You're waiting to get your food at Chipotle, whatever it is. You have time, right? So what do? You immediately pull up social media, more than likely. I usually go to email or social media, one of the two, if I'm just sitting there waiting. And so I think social media, the recognition is there, and people are going to it. And so let's talk a little bit. I want to start out with the psychology of social media. I want to go into how to use it, and then I want to go through into the thinking of how to use it and actually apply it. So we're going to kind of I tried to put this together to where it would logically flow together. The first thing I want to ask everybody, and this is a rhetorical question, so think about this in your head. What is your view of social media? And I'm going to pause for a second because I want you to think of it, right? And you can say you're on the left side or the right side of the screen. And, some people are going to view social media as a time suck, right? I'll be honest, there's plenty of times where social media is the last thing I see before I go to sleep and the first thing I wake up to outside of my alarm and my dog. That happens sometimes. I'm not naive to it. And I know I'm not alone in that either, so I have no problem admitting that. Some people view it as a time suck. It's easy to sit there and get lost in scrolling, right? I remember when my wife and I first discovered Reels on Instagram, and I'll talk about that later on. And I'm not kidding. Like, I literally sat in our basement watching football, and she sat upstairs watching something, and we were just sending Reels together, like through the floorboard of the house, basically back and forth to each other for like 6 hours. That was a time suck. We were 100% aware that Saturday was lost thanks to social media. And so, you can view it like that. You can view it as a productivity killer, right? Sometimes there's days, I don't know if anybody else worked today. I know it's Veterans Day, and big shout out to everybody that served. Thank you guys for your service. Happy Veterans Day when we're live here and recording this. But we worked today, and it felt like a Monday to me, kind of. By 2 o'clock, I was just done. I've had a lot of caffeine today to get me through here to 7 o'clock tonight here in St. Louis. So, but I didn't feel like being super productive, and I was tempted to go open social media, but I had to catch myself and make sure I was still working. So social media can be a productivity killer. It can also be a negativity spreader. We won't go down the rabbit hole on this one too much. But does anybody like love to get on social media and just see a bunch of like arguments and stuff? Like, I'm gonna guess probably not. But that's like the perception some people have of social media. And so on the flip side of that, where I want you guys to start viewing social media, if you have any of these preconceived notions, is I want you to view social media as an opportunity to connect with people, to friend people and follow people and get to know people through social media. I've kind of made it a rule that generally whenever I meet people, I just end up finding them on Facebook and Instagram and like connecting with them, right? Because I use social media as a marketing tool for my business. I use it for other reasons, but I use it as a big thing for that. And so that's kind of part of my personal strategy is whenever I meet people, I always send them a friend request, get to know them because I'll end up sharing business content that I'll go through later and how we kind of utilize that. So view it as an opportunity to connect with people. View it as an opportunity to grow your business. And if you view it in those ways, that social media can be very productive. I think that will help you understand what we're going to talk about the rest of the night because you're going to have a positive view of social media. And again, it's easy to get sucked into, I say the left side of the screen here of those 3 bullet points, because that's just like kind of what the media portrays it to be, right? That social media is very negative. There's a lot of, negative benefits or negative side effects to it. But I really try to focus on the positive side, and that keeps me focused on why I'm utilizing social media. So why do people use social media? I want to hit on this real quick before we jump into the nuts and bolts. So the first thing, people want to be connected, right? This Discord channel that we're on right now and this whole community, which is super cool to see, like what you guys are building and what you built from so many perspectives, from a personal perspective, from a business perspective. It's really cool to see what you guys are doing here, and I absolutely love it. And I'll be your biggest supporter for the rest of forever with it. But it's clear people want to be connected, right? You guys are a community that are working on the same goals and in the same industry. And you guys want to be connected with each other, right? Iron sharpens iron. And so it's the same thing with social media. People want to be connected. They want to feel connected to each other. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of a task-oriented-ish person. And so I really like being connected with people on social media because whenever I go meet with somebody for like coffee or for lunch or, whatever it is, like I've got the backstory. Like I know that they like to golf. I know that their kids are this and they're playing these sports, and I can just dive into conversations, right? There's no like getting to know them necessarily if I'm already connected with them on social media. I pretty much kind of have a rough outline of what they like to do, and we can get right to the point. So I'm aware that that's kind of a weakness in my personality, but I try to use it as a benefit to it. But so people want to feel connected. The second thing, people want to consume content. Now, this is more of a subconscious one. The first one is a conscious thing, right? People understand they want to be connected. That's why we use social media. The second one is more of an unconscious thing. People go to social media to be entertained. Regardless of whether you cognizantly do it, you go to social media to be entertained, right? Talked about the reels 6 hours later on Saturday. We were thoroughly entertained. I put this sub bullet point in here. Regardless of how you feel about social media and like not caring what other people post, think about you're like in the very minority of that, right? There's like 1 to 3% of the population out there that's just like, yeah, I don't care what other people are doing. I don't care about it. It literally does nothing for me. So if you feel that way, I understand it. I kind of felt that way too. But you got to think about the 97% of people out there that are looking to consume content and be entertained and get to know people and stuff. And so don't get caught in that thinking of like, oh, well, why do people care about this? I don't care about it. Nobody else will. You're completely wrong on that. Everybody else does, or else Facebook would have 0 users at this point. So clearly people want to consume content, whether they realize it or not. And then the last one is people want to know what's going on around them, right? People use social media to understand what's going on in the community, to get caught up on news, regardless of how biased one side or the other it might be. People want to know what's going on and be in the know about community events and different things like that. So that's kind of really why people use social media. So let's start talking through what platform should you use. And again, with my kind of limited knowledge about what you guys are doing here in this group, I'm going to try to hit this from a couple different angles tonight to where hopefully everybody listening to this, watching the recording on YouTube can get something out of this tonight. But there's really 5 main platforms that people use out there in society. And the first one everybody knows is Facebook, maybe Meta. I don't know. I still haven't read up on what the heck's going on with all that. I guess we'll find out when Zuckerberg pushes it out. But Facebook's obviously the biggest one. Facebook owns Instagram. That's really the second biggest one that we're going to kind of hit on. Most of what I'm going to talk about for the next 20 minutes or so is going to be geared around those 2 platforms. But the nice thing with Facebook owning Instagram is you actually can connect your accounts together on there, to where you only have to post once to one of them and it'll automatically post to the other. So highly recommend that if you haven't connected your Facebook and Instagram accounts, whether it's your personal ones, whether it's your business ones, either way, I recommend do that because it will just save you a lot of time. And there's some other tools you can use in there with Facebook Business Suite as an app you can download to pre-schedule posts and do some of that stuff too. So again, I'm going to try to hit on some of that. Yeah.
So Facebook that's an external app to connect your Facebook and Instagram, or is it integrated into Facebook?
It's all integrated together between Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook Business Suite, it's still part of it, but it's a third app you would want to download to be able to schedule posts and do some of that stuff. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram internally, you can connect them together. I think it's easier to go on your Instagram app and go to the account center and do it that way than it is to go into Facebook and do it, if I remember correctly. So those are the 2 biggest ones. The other 3 that we'll kind of hit on later on is LinkedIn. LinkedIn's more of a professional network, social media platform. YouTube, which is a huge one. I said, hopefully we're getting this video out there on the YouTube channel later. That is still, some people are like, oh, YouTube's so old. YouTube is thriving and growing like crazy. And so that's still very much alive and relevant. And the last one that we'll hit on very briefly is TikTok. Some people like TikTok kind of had a negative stigma there for a while. Regardless, it's growing like crazy and people are using it to build their businesses. I know real estate agents that are literally selling houses because of doing stuff on TikTok with them, like being in the house, doing stuff and finding it's crazy. Like it's kind of a crazy world we live in with social media, but it's reality, I guess. So I want to just break down, like I said, I want to spend the next 10, 15 minutes talking through Facebook and Instagram. And I want to break down really the 3 main things that you're going to want to use on here. And then I'm going to get into this why. And so I just want to kind of create awareness to these things. And if anybody is like listening to this or watching this part of it, and you're like, wow, Chris, like I know, like that's super basic knowledge. I understand, but I guarantee you there's one person in here that doesn't. So I'm just going to pretend like nobody knows anything and give you the quick rundown. So there's 3 main things to use. 1 is posting to your newsfeed. 2 is utilizing stories. And the 3rd thing is the reels that I mentioned earlier. And so I've got a kind of quick example on here. I'll kind of move this around so everybody can see. The first thing with the newsfeed, this is generally where people do scroll through content that gets posted. These are screenshots I took the morning I was putting this presentation together. Was not this morning, by the way. It was like Monday. I was a little prepared at least. So, and this is where you can kind of go through and post stuff. This is where the information stays here and it goes to your profiles forever. So if you go click on your profile, you can look on my Facebook page back to, I don't know, whenever I got a Facebook account, probably in 2008, 2007. And you can see everything I've ever posted on my profile all the way back to that. It would probably take you quite a while. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I was not that interesting when I was at that point in my life. I guarantee you that. But this is kind of the first part, right? This is where you can post things. People scroll through, they see, status updates and new posting things. And it was kind of funny as I was thinking through that, thinking back that far, like Facebook used to have a status thing where there was no pictures, there was no videos, and it was, I hope I'm not going to date myself here, but like it literally said like your name and then it said the word is, and you couldn't change that. Like it was like what you were doing, like it was a status update. That was the only thing you used to be able to post. And so it's crazy to see where these platforms have came in the last 10 to 15 years since they originally launched. So same thing on Instagram there on the right-hand side. Again, you just kind of scroll through. That's where people post stuff. I should have took a picture when the Blues actually won a game. But they've only lost a couple this year, so I can't complain too much. So the second place is the stories feature. This is becoming this is far more popular than newsfeed. Stories. This is where people usually share more content. This is where people share a little bit more personal stuff. and is becoming highly used in both Facebook and Instagram. They actually, one of them, they basically stole this from Snapchat. Snapchat kind of came out with stories first. Obviously, they still have it, but it was kind of that same concept. And then Facebook and Instagram took it because they realized how many people were plugging into it. And so this is where anything you post on your stories on either of these platforms, it's only there for 24 hours. After 24 hours, things drop off. It's just a perpetual cycle. I think you do have access to like go into your own archives, but you can't go in and look at anybody else's archives of any of their stuff. But there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with this. And again, I'll kind of talk a little bit more in depth. I was going to put like examples of like different things in here. But one, the PowerPoint was going to be a massive file and I didn't want it to slow down the presentation. Two, just as easily, I can just tell you guys to go look at other people's stories. So I took these screenshots, and with the red boxes, these are just where they're located on the mobile apps and Facebook and Instagram. So go check it out. Go see what people are doing with this stuff. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. You can ask questions. You can have polls out there. Just tons of different things. Kind of makes it fun. There's a lot of neat things you can do with it. And again, this is kind of where the entertainment side of things come in. The news feed, sometimes there'll be funny things posted or, whatever. But the stories is really where people are going for the more entertainment stuff. And I really think there's some psychology behind, since things are only on there for 24 hours, people are on social media more because they know those things are going away, right? It's kind of the FOMO, the fear of missing out, because I know if I don't get on and look at so-and-so's story, it's going to be gone within 24 hours, right? So again, I don't think that's a conscious decision we make as human beings, but I think subconsciously there's a lot of having these stories on here and certain things like that that are pulling people onto the platforms more often. So, and then the third thing is the Reels. These are 15 to 60 second videos in which you can create. There's a lot of different tools out there you can utilize. You can put music to them. You can put a whole bunch of pictures and videos together in kind of a slideshow type thing. There's tons of cool features. I'm not even going to get into how to do any of that. Just go start exploring on there. Check out some YouTube videos and other places if you really want to learn how to do that. Reach out to me personally if you want to chat more about that stuff too. But it's a very entertaining thing. This is like, again, I told you the time suck that my wife and I went through that night. Like Reels some of them are pretty hilarious. Some of them are kind of dumb. But it's a lot of like funny things on there. Like this isn't something good to like watch in bed if like your spouse is sleeping, because you're going to start busting up laughing probably and wake them up. And sometimes that's not a good situation. So this is a good spot to go. It's a lot of fun things. But this is kind of, I don't want to say ripped off, but TikTok was the original creator of these 15 to 60 second videos. And guess what? Facebook and Instagram was like, wow, this is super popular. We should add this on our platform. And now it's taken off like wildfire. So Reels is the fastest growing part of social media right now with Facebook and Instagram. I just put a couple tips on here. If you are going to create Reels on your personal account or your business account, definitely try to do something to catch attention in the first couple of seconds. If it's like 2 to 3 seconds in and nothing's caught my attention, I'm already scrolling on to the next one because these are made to be very quick, short little videos. Again, although you can watch them for over 6 hours apparently. So I know by experience, but pay attention to trends. I think that's one big thing I just want to hit on. And that really goes for everything I'm talking through here with the stories, with the Reels. There's a lot of like trends and fun things that are catching on. I can't think of any off the top of my head right this second. I know one of them was like, tell us your husband's cool without telling us your husband's cool or something. And it was like pictures and videos people would post on there and different things like that. And so there's a lot of trends you can kind of catch on to, right? Like you'll notice some themes, and then after like a week or two, you're like, wow, I haven't seen any of that lately. Anybody that likes country music, the song Fancy Like by Walker Hayes, that literally started on Reels, and it got super popular, and it was everywhere for weeks. And then like now it's kind of died off, and they're on to other songs. But guess what? He's gotten super popular just because of it. So and then the last one, you use music on there. I think that helps catch people's attention more. However, the licensing works on there, it's kind of cool because you can pretty much go search for any song you want to put to your pictures and videos on there. So you can create a lot of entertaining and engaging stuff. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Before you move on, and you might be touching on this soon, we have a question from Knotted Laces. They're wondering if there's an optimal frequency for posts, reels, and stories, like per week, per month, to capture the interest of customers.
Yes, there is, and I am going to get to that here in just a second.
Perfect. So, we'll wait patiently.
Nope, you're good. You're good. I would rather somebody ask and let me say, hang on for a couple minutes of that thought. So you are good. So I want to talk through the science side of how social media works and why it works the way it does. There's a good friend of mine. His name's Jeff Fitzer. He's a mortgage lender here in the St. Louis area, and he's kind of become a social media expert. And you would never think a mortgage lender would be a social media expert, but he's almost getting out of the mortgage industry to focus on social media stuff. But he had a thought, and it was a total revolutionary kind of pivotal moment for me in the way I viewed social media and businesses whenever I met Jeff a couple years ago. And he said, you shouldn't worry about using a business page. You should worry about using your personal page. And there's a lot of psychology behind why that makes sense. Now, I'm going to preface this and say, not everybody, depending on what you're trying to accomplish with your business in this group, does that make sense for. If you're focusing in a very local market around you for where you're going to sell your products, then personal page is where it's at. Not to not have a business page. I'll talk how to integrate that in a little bit. If you're trying to go nationwide and do a direct-to-consumer model with your business, then you're probably going to want to focus on a business page a little bit more. And so, again, that's where kind of my knowledge of the industry. I can't give you specific examples, but for the rest of the time, I'm going to try to kind of hit on both of those two sides, the personal and the business. But for the sake of argument, let's just say that everybody on your social media profile and platform that you use, everybody has an algorithm score. I don't know that they actually have a score behind the scenes at Facebook, but let's just pretend that that's the concept here, right? It's very similar to a credit score. There's things you can do that'll help that and things you can do that will hurt your score. And the whole goal of the game, if you're going to use social media for growing your business, whether it's through your personal account or through your business account, you have to play the algorithm game. Like it or not, that's how the game works, right? So I'm going to kind of give you the secrets on how to hack the game, if you will. The first thing you need to understand is Facebook and Instagram, and again, you can kind of insert any of these other we're talking about here. They're going to reward you when you do what they want you to do, which is like stuff, comment stuff, share things. You have engaging content that people like, comment, and share on. You use the tools they give you on stories and reels. That's one thing that is be very attentive of. When you see new features popping up as you're creating content on stories and reels, if you use that, that's going to actually boost your algorithm score, because Facebook's like, oh, hey, Krista used, these tools that we're giving her. Awesome. Well, we're going to make sure more people see her stuff now, because that's the whole goal of the algorithm. When you have a higher algorithm score, more people are going to see your stuff. When more people see your stuff, that's how your business can grow. And so that's kind of the first premise I want everybody to understand is pretend that you have a score and you're going to get credit whenever you do what these platforms want you to do. Now, there are a couple strategies here that I want to talk about. Again, when on your personal page, this is only going to really apply to your personal page. The most important thing I can recommend is that the 80-20 rule. 80% of your posts should be personal, 20% should involve your business. And that was a total paradigm shift for me. Again, I view social media mostly as a platform to use for my business. And so when I heard that, I was like, you want me to post about my personal life? Like, why? Like, that has nothing to do with me being a business advisor. That has nothing to do with me helping clients and their finances and their marketing. Like, why would I post personal stuff? And here's the reason why. Because people are more likely to interact with your personal content than they are your business content, right? Most people don't go to Facebook because they want to see business stuff. They go to Facebook because they want to feel connected with people and they want to know what's going on in people's lives, right? Again, consciously or subconsciously, that's why we use social media. So when we go to that and like business stuff pops up, we see it, but we're like less likely to engage in it. We're like maybe not really interested, whatever the case may be. And so if you post 80%, and really Jeff even says 80 to 90% of your stuff should be personal. So anywhere in that range you want to fall into. But here's the thing, and here's why this works. Whenever I post pictures of our dog, people love it, right? Our dog's cute, he's funny, he's got a personality. If you're not a dog person, sorry, you probably can't relate to what I'm saying. But it's entertaining, right? Like usually if I'm posting something of him, it's entertaining. And so people will they'll comment on it, they'll watch stuff we post to them and all that stuff, right? Well, the more people do that, the higher the algorithm score, right? So if 80% of the time I'm posting content that people are liking and they're engaging with and they're consuming, then we're more likely to get people to see when we post something business, right? So when I do throw something out there that's business related, more people are seeing that because the last 4 to 5 posts I made were very engaging. So Facebook's like, oh, people are loving what Chris is posting. We're going to, show this to more people. And so people see the business stuff. Now, they may not interact with it, but they see it, right? And that's the whole point, is they see it. And when you have this kind of blend of 80 to 90% personal, 10 to 20% business, you can afford for people not to engage in that business one because it still keeps your score pretty high, right? If 80 to 90% of your posts are very engaging, your score is super high, your business one, maybe drops you down just a smidge. You get back on the personal train and go from there. And so I hope that makes sense as far as kind of the principle of it and why it's important. Like I said, for me, this was very eye-opening to understand, like, wow, that actually makes sense. Like, people do want to engage with entertaining stuff. And so what do you post, right? And this goes for the newsfeed posts, the stories, any of that type of stuff. And so what should you be posting? Post stuff for your family, right? If you've got kids, people will eat that up for days, right? If you're out doing fun things, I just said adventures, doing fun things in the world. We love to go to, Blues hockey games and Cardinal games here in St. Louis in the summertime. We like to go do stuff like that. Funny things, right? Funny things your spouse may do, funny things you see in public, whatever it might be, right? Anything that people are going to enjoy content. I hit on the pets one. That's usually a no-brainer as well. And Jeff always kind of has this concept of having 3 pillars of content, right? Most people are going to have their family and their personal lives. Most of us, that are treating this like a business are going to have a business thing that they can post. And then you should always have like a third one, right? Like whether it's kind of your passion. So whether it's maybe food, whether it's fitness, whether it's, fashion, for me, it's sports. I'm a big sports guy, if you guys can't tell by all the stuff here in my office. And so, those are kind of the things that I usually post. It's either something family and, pet related, it's business, or it's sports related. Whether we're at a game, whether I'm playing something, whether I'm watching it, in the basement or something like that. So figure out what to post and just start doing it. Now, Krista, you asked about the consistency of posting. So the method to the madness here is you should post about 3 to 5 times on your stories every day. So 3 to 5 posts on your stories on Facebook and Instagram every day, and about 1 newsfeed post per day, maybe 4 or 5 a week. If 1 a day is a little bit much on that. And again, on the stories, that's where people are going to share, like maybe, that they're at Starbucks or share a picture of their lunch. Like that's the type of stuff that kind of goes on the stories. And the other, more entertaining things is kind of the things that go on the newsfeed generally is kind of the breakdown of that. Trial and error it, see what works, see what you're getting results on, see what people are engaging with. Again, the more you use these platforms, you'll kind of get a good feel for it. The other strategy to use here, and I'm going to start trying to speed up a little bit just for time's sake, but engage with other people. Comment, like, and share things, that other people post too, right? Because your score isn't just about what you post and how people interact with it. It's how you interact with others on the platform. One little tip to this, always comment back when people comment on your stuff. So a perfect example, it's your birthday and everybody's saying happy birthday, right? Go through each individual person and comment back on it because that's just helping your algorithm score. Same thing, so for example, my wife and I are expecting next April, and we just had our gender reveal and did a video and posted it out there, and of course got tons of comments on it. And it was really funny because I was taking time and commenting back on every single person, which I genuinely wanted to say thank you, anyways. But she was like, "Why are you taking all the time to do that?" And then she goes, "Wait, algorithm score." And I was like, exactly. It's a perfect opportunity to double the amount of comments we get and the engagement and stuff. So that's the type of personal stuff you definitely want to take advantage of, if possible. The other thing I want to kind of hit on, the algorithm is smart enough, so not just to know when you interact with other people's stuff, not just to know when people interact with your stuff, but it actually goes as far to pick up when people stop scrolling to watch and read your content. So consider it like a timer, right? If you're ever like, why does all this stuff keep popping up? It's probably because you stop as you're scrolling to watch it, so Facebook thinks you're interested in it. And so that's a very, very key thing, especially if you're watching reels and you're like, man, I mentioned the Fancy Like Walker Hayes song. Like all of a sudden I was like, I feel like this thing is freaking everywhere. And it was because I realized I was stopping to like watch people doing the TikTok dances and stuff on it. And I was just easily entertained, I think, at that point. But so the algorithm is smart enough to know what you're stopping to watch and read. So kind of pay attention to that. So let's talk real quick about business pages. Business pages are not a thing of the past. Let me just make this very clear. Like I talked a lot about how to use your personal account on social media to grow your following, to grow your brand. I always say every single person you're friends with on social media should know what you do for a living. Or if this is maybe a side hobby for you, they should know what your side hobby is. And so if everybody knows that, then you're doing social media right. But business pages are still important, like I said, especially for those of you guys that may be reaching out on a more regional scale or even possibly nationwide. Again, I don't know everybody's intentions exactly with this, but you still want to use your business page. And really the easiest way I say to do this is that 10 to 20% I talked about posting business. Post something on your business page and just share it to your personal page. Share it to your personal story, share it to your personal newsfeed, whatever that might be. Because I like that, because then all of your friends know they see your business stuff, right? If you share it to your personal stuff, all the people you're friends with on social media are going to see that business content. And they're going to pick up on it, especially if you put something as you share it, like, hey, check out what we just did last night, or, whatever it is. They're like, oh, that's Jesse's business. Like, wow, that's super cool. And so that's really kind of how I like to integrate business pages with the personal page. If you're using your business page and your business accounts to really try to grow your outreach and stuff, let your personality come through on your business page. We actually just started doing a couple weeks ago, like a creative marketing concept every single Thursday. So every Thursday we find something funny that we've seen online that's really kind of entertaining marketing wise, and we share it on our business page because we like to have fun in what we do too. Like we're super serious about helping people with their businesses, but we like to make it fun and engaging at the same time. And so we've had a great response from that even just a few weeks. So if you like our Elite Business Advisors Facebook or Instagram, this isn't a shameless plug, I promise, but every Thursday you'll see kind of a funny creative marketing concept on there. And so with that being said, like I said, if you're trying to expand regionally, nationally, take what we just talked about with the posting frequency and the 80-20 stuff, and kind of apply that to your business page. You should still post on your story 3 to 5 times a day. Should still post on your newsfeed once a day, once every other day for your business, and just get creative with it. Figure out like, hey, what could be fun to post? Like maybe you guys are, working and doing something or packaging stuff, and like just try to make it fun and engaging, and utilize that on your business page to expand your outreach. I want to quickly hit on the other 3 platforms that we didn't talk about quite as much. Like I said earlier, TikTok is super beneficial. It is basically just the Facebook and Instagram Reels is all TikTok is. This could be super useful. If anybody's looking for that nationwide, region-wide discovery, I would really look into using TikTok and create fun, engaging content on there. TikTok gives you a lot of tools and different things you can utilize to make your business kind of fun. One nice thing about TikTok is when you sign up for an account, I was super late to the game on this. I don't really use it that much, but you actually have to pick categories and stuff you're interested in. So for those of you guys that are looking to connect in with the food and restaurant, people that love to cook and that sort of stuff, TikTok can be kind of a very streamlined, detailed place where you can connect with maybe that audience you're looking for. The biggest thing, like I mentioned earlier, just keep an eye out for trends, hop on them, catch in. And when you see people like a trend that's starting, try to hop in on it and just that'll kind of, ride the wave until it dies off and the next trend is the next big thing. So YouTube, like I said, YouTube's growing still rapidly in a lot of different ways. It really is initially designed for longer video content. things like this, be able to have it as a resource, information about your business, establish credibility. That's how I tell people to use YouTube still. I think it's important to have a channel on here. We have one. We don't have a ton of stuff on it. Usually when we do webinars or we'll try to post short videos and stuff on it, it's more of just a credibility thing. It's a resource for people. It allows us to say, hey, go check out our YouTube channel. We actually did a short 5-minute video on that topic. That's how we use it in our business personally. But I think it's, it can definitely be something that can really grow a larger reach. Again, especially if you're looking for that nationwide credibility and building those relationships and stuff. And again, you're probably sick of hearing me say it, create fun, engaging, outside the box content on here too. There's kind of a common theme with that line. So last but not least, there's LinkedIn. I really recommend only using this if you're trying to connect in with like restaurant owners to get your products in there. Or other business owners that can be an asset. It's like I said, it's really the professional platform out of all the social media channels. You can also create a business page on LinkedIn too. So same thing with Facebook. You can create a business page, post content on it, share it to your personal LinkedIn profile. And I put this on LinkedIn, but after I did, I realized this really goes for all of them. If you're utilizing a business page, try to mix up the medium in which you deliver your content. And what I mean by that is sometimes use texts, share articles, certain things like that. Use photos, use videos, use a combination of this stuff. And just try to mix it up and kind of keep it fresh. I think if you're always just posting text stuff or just posting photos or just posting videos, it gets to be a little bit repetitive and monotonous. So try to just mix up the method in which you're delivering your content on. And again, that's for all the platforms. I put that here under LinkedIn's, but it really applies to all of them. Krista, I've got just a few more minutes of content to go through. Do we have any other questions or anything before we dive into this?
I do have one. So a few nights ago, I was recording questions from some Mossback Discord members that couldn't attend this evening. One of them asked, and the reason I bring this up now is because you really advocate to share the fun and relatable. They were wondering, what are some of the pitfalls of sharing your failures, and should you do it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think that there's any pitfalls in sharing your failures. And the reason why is I think it creates authenticity and I think it creates trust with people, right? I think we all probably have a friend or two on Facebook that we know is like very fake, right? Like you see what they post and you're like, you're not really that happy in life. Like, I know you well enough to know like you have your online persona and then there's like real life. And I don't mean that sounds really rude. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said that. But it's true. I'm not going to lie. So I think, sharing the failures and the pitfalls, honestly, I think because people are longing for that community and that connection with people, sometimes sharing your story, like it really is a good thing and a benefit to people. Now, if every day you're sharing failures and stuff, that might be a different story. So, occasionally I would recommend it, but no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think honestly, it can really just be a benefit if nothing else. Cool. All right. Well, let's hop on here. Where to start? Go ahead. Is there any other ones?
There is. Just now, your mate Sam asked, how planned can posts be? Would you build a backlog of weeks or months worth of content to release on schedule?
Yep. So what I would recommend doing for your personal one, not as much, but for your business one, yes, I would recommend going through and figuring out how many times a week you're going to post and trying to preload as much of that stuff as possible. We do that for our clients. We usually do everything at least a week or two out. We schedule it out ahead of time. Again, if you're using Facebook and Instagram, there's the Business Suite app, or you can get the Business Suite through the browser. And go through and schedule that stuff out. You can kind of pick times when you want it to go out. It kind of helps keep things organized. I 10 out of 10 recommend doing that. Just make sure if you schedule stuff out for a month, you put a reminder in your calendar for 3.5 weeks out to go through and schedule the next month out, because sometimes it'll be so automated you forget about it. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I haven't posted anything in 3 weeks. I probably need to get back on that. So Yeah, I 10 out of 10 recommend, especially for the business stuff, plan things out as much as possible. You can get strategic for it. I'm the creative director at our church here, by our house. And so like I've already went through and planned out like when I wanted things to go out for Thanksgiving stuff, for Christmas stuff, like over the next 6 weeks to where we could be very strategic about like reminders and certain things. So yeah, that's a great question. That's something I didn't hit on yet, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend doing it.
Can I ask one real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, go for it.
Um, what would you say to someone who, you had spoken earlier that children, people love to see children and pets, and what would you say to someone who's very security minded about their little ones?
Yep, that is a very tough thing to navigate. And I 100% respect everybody's opinion on that, and the privacy side of it. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to that. But I will say that it seems as my personal point of view on it is, information's everywhere, right? It's very hard to keep things overly secure. And so, at that point, I would probably set your profile up maybe a little bit more privately to where like only friends and stuff can see what you're posting. It's not just the general public can get on and see what you're posting. So I think that's really the biggest thing I would really recommend with that is, don't accept friend requests from people you don't know, only connect with people you actually know, and just have your privacy settings set up to where only people you're friends with can see the content that you're posting. I think that's your best bet with it. And even if, like I said, if you don't feel comfortable with it, I don't ever want to push somebody to do something just, to help grow a business that they're not personally comfortable with. But I think, there are some settings in there with the privacy stuff, especially some of the updates Apple's forced, with Facebook and some of these platforms now. I think there's a little bit more control over the privacy stuff, than there used to be. And so I think just take advantage of that, and make sure you're a little bit tighter about all that stuff.
Knotted Laces has a question that dovetails nicely. Could
Perfect.
you be successful with just a business account and no personal account if you're not comfortable sharing that information?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, it really just depends on what you want to achieve. I think it takes more work to be successful on social media with just having a business profile and no personal one, because then you're relying on people to like your page or follow your account. And, there's really no good, easy way to jumpstart that with like personal connections. But yeah, absolutely. If you don't feel comfortable utilizing a personal profile, you can still have success on social media. I think it's just going to take a lot of work. I think you're going to have to be very creative, and really outside the box thinking to create that engaging content, and utilizing a lot of, the reels, places where people can discover you, because, your news feed, only your friends are going to see that, or people that like your account are going to see that. So if you don't have a big following on there, it doesn't do a lot of good to post a lot of stuff on your newsfeed. So I think you just have to be a lot more strategic on how you're going to grow your page organically, and get the word out there about your company. But yeah, I think absolutely it can be done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'll jump through these last few slides and keep throwing questions in here. I'm happy to sit here and go through and keep answering them. But a lot of people, I went through a lot of information. I'm well aware of that, and I hope it made sense. I hope it broke it down in kind of a way that you guys could understand, regardless of how knowledgeable you are about social media either way. But where should you start at? I think the first thing is pick 2 of those 5 platforms and just dominate them. Just focus your time and energy on 2 of those 5. I think, over time you could have presence on all 5 of them. But I think if you try to do too much right off the bat, it's going to be overwhelming and you're not going to do any of it well. So I would rather you have 2 platforms and you really focus and go hard on those. Again, Facebook and Instagram are kind of some of the more popular ones. And like I mentioned earlier, with being able to connect your accounts together, it's great because it's easy to dominate both of them together by doing one thing. And so that's really nice. So figure out which 2 make the most sense for you and your business and focus on that. The second thing, make a commitment and a plan, and have a way to track your follow through. This is something I see a lot of people struggle with, right? And not just in social media. I mean, this goes for fitness and everything in life. We always have good intentions. but we're not always good at following through on them, right? Like, how many times, I'm 100% guilty of this, like, has anybody on here said, oh, I'm going to start that diet on Monday? Like, it's already Thursday, like it's Thursday night and you're like, I'm going to just start that on next Monday, right? And then like you do that for about 18 weeks until finally like I literally have to make a change to do something different. Speaking from experience here, I'll be transparent with you guys. So you have to make a commitment, you have to have a plan, and you have to have some way to follow through on it, whether it's something written, on a whiteboard in your office or somewhere in your house. Just something that you're going to see that's a reminder of it, because this is one of those things with social media. It's super easy to do, but it's also really easy not to do. And it's really easy to put off until tomorrow. And it's 10 o'clock at night. And you're like, well, I'm not going to post anything now and nobody's going to see it. Well, guess what? It's going to be there in the morning again. So you might as well post it. So that's the thing, is just have a way to follow through and track your progress, right? If you make a commitment, you say, okay, I'm going to take Chris's advice and I'm going to post 3 stories a day on Instagram and Facebook. Have a way to track that. Have something to where at the end of the week you can say, did I do 3 stories every day? Or, oh, I did 20 throughout the whole week. It was 5 this day and 4 this day and whatever, right? Have a way to track your numbers. I think that's really important in anything in business. Some of you guys may be newer to business. Some of you guys may be been in business for a while. You have to know the scoreboard of your business. You have to know your numbers, and coming into a marketing strategy, it's no different. One piece of advice I can give you guys, there's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Anybody that's a reader, enjoys personal development, I would highly recommend getting your hands on that book or listening to the audio book. And in that book, he talks about habit stacking. And what he says is, if you're trying to take on a new habit, you should pair it with another habit that you already have going in your life, right? So, perfect example, sounds really dumb, but I'm just going to tell you guys what it is. So every night before we go to bed, I always let our dog out before we go to bed for the night. And now I got in the habit of making coffee and presetting the coffee pot for 5:45 in the morning. And I just do it every night when I let the dog out, because that happens every night anyways. So it's kind of just pairing it along with that. That may sound really stupid, but I'm a systems and efficiency person, and it works for me. So the coffee's always ready when I wake up every morning at 6. So habit stack it, and this sounds cheesy, but like I've gotten in the habit of, with social media stuff, usually while I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm on social media posting something. Because if I post something to my story, I'm not necessarily posting like what I'm eating at that point. Don't get me wrong there. But I'm posting something which ties into the next point. You can take pictures and videos and you can always post them later. So I'll kind of make if I get a chance to capture something, I will. And then I'll post it, 4 or 6 hours later. And it's usually whenever I'm eating, to where I know I eat at least 3 times a day. So I'm getting at least 3 stories out there every single day if I'm habit stacking the posting along with eating. So that's just kind of a little thing that can work, but you got to figure out what works for you to follow through on your plan. So I think this is the last slide I've got. So I wanted to try to think outside the box a little bit for you guys here and put myself in your shoes with a lot of this stuff I've learned over the years of doing this and trial and error. And I always say, the great thing for you guys is we've been doing this stuff with our clients for years now. So the clients have been our guinea pigs. I'm trying to give you guys the good filtered down information here today. But the kind of 2 things I came up with, right? If you're trying to connect in with local restaurants, owners, maybe stores that can sell your guys' products, go be what I call, and again, I stole this from Jeff Fitzer, a digital mayor. And really what that is it's you being out in the community, highlighting the community. You should make people want to connect with you and use you for their products. And so what this could look like is, every time you're at a restaurant, do a tour, do a little video in there, promote it on your social media, use videos while you're in there, do a Facebook Live. If you can catch the owner, do a quick thing. Hey, I'm just spotlighting, local businesses here. Whatever it is, right? Just make yourself known in the community and connect in with the community. Because if you can be an advocate for people, people will eventually want to be an advocate for you. It may take some time. You have to be authentic. You have to be genuine. You have to be in it as a good value-added person. But if you do those things, I'm a firm believer that things will get taken care of for you at some point, right? And so, don't try to cold call a restaurant for 10 times and all of a sudden show up in there and be like, hey, I'm doing a video. Can I talk to the owner? just take one approach or the other with it. But when you do things like this, we're part of a mastermind Metro East here in St. Louis. We do an event once a month. It's a networking thing. And next year, we're totally switching how we're doing everything to be more of a presence in the local community with small business owners and highlighting these restaurants and doing these types of things. And we're doing something called Storm the Business, where once a month we have a different business that we just make a big push for our whole community to go support and stuff, and just create awareness about different things. And so kind of do that with your own personal social media stuff. The second thought I had would be that you could create a group on Facebook or on Discord or any of these different platforms here for local restaurants in your market, and offer things of value to benefit them as restaurant owners. It doesn't necessarily have to be about you and your product, but it can be things like bring somebody on like myself, not necessarily me, that's an expert in helping business owners, restaurant owners, grow their businesses, right? And when you can create a community like that and get people plugged in and offer value to them that's going to help them in their business lives, they're probably going to kind of get to like you a little bit, right? And so I think, again, these are just a couple of thoughts I had. I was trying to think outside the box a little bit and apply this to what you guys are doing in your businesses and with this community. And for those of you guys that are pursuing it like a business, just some different things. And this is where I've said it a few times, and I think outside the box, try to figure out these different things on how you can add value to the people that you want to connect with. A really good friend of mine, she's a mortgage lender, and she's built her entire business off of helping real estate agents grow their businesses for not asking for anything in return. She 100% helped them market their business, become better real estate agents, utilize social media like this for their business. And guess where they happen to send their clients to when their clients need a mortgage lender? That's been her whole strategy. And so think of things like that as you guys are growing your businesses. Figure out how you can add value to those people that are great assets that will help you grow your business, and you guys will be successful. So presentation wise, that's all that I've got here. I'll hang out here for a little bit and answer any more questions that come in. So Krista, Sam, I'll let you guys kind of find the way.
Hey, thanks for doing this, Chris.
Hey, absolutely. My pleasure. Hope it helped.
Mr. Woody, James, you doing okay? What's up?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I am. Yeah, we can.
Good, good, good. I hope everybody's doing well tonight.
We're glad to see you. Brian B, we got Shaka in here. Shaka, he's an island boy. And then we've got Julie from Arizona or New Mexico. Julie.
Oh yeah, Arizona.
Arizona. Does anybody have any questions for Chris? Man, that was a great presentation. I really appreciate you doing that. You've given me like at least 20 different ideas on how I'm going to manage my social media marketing.
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped myself. And I seen your slides earlier in the week, and your slides like inspired me to just really kind of drive a lot of different agendas that I want to participate in. So I really appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on here. Like I said, anything you guys ever need in the future, business plan stuff, financial stuff, I mean, any of those types of things, I'm happy to help out.
Yeah.
Justice is Muddy One, aka Joe.
Yeah.
I'm setting up Oyster Bay mushrooms up here in Port Orchard, Washington. I'm just a little west of Seattle on the other side of the muddy ditch here.
What's up, Muddy One? Hey, Muddy One. I think I figured out if you want to turn your video on, I think you can probably do that. Give it a try.
Oh, all right. Well, you're gonna see me sitting here. Discord wants to access my camera. Say okay.
What's up, Muddy One? What's going
there
on?
There it is. Hey, it's a little cool. Sitting here. Yeah, awesome. So, Chris, thank you. I made a comment early on. Social media is not something that I find a lot of value in personally. My background, I'm an IT project manager. I run large projects, security. is a huge thing in my world. And so my own Facebook page, if y'all can find me, you're not going to find much, right? So everything that you talk about posting tonight, I'm flipping gears in my mind thinking, okay, I have to have a business page. I have to treat my business page like my personal page. So I need to start building content about me on my business page and change my mindset, because I'll never get my children to allow posting pictures of their children, my grandbabies, because of the whole security thing. We work in this space. They don't want any of that out there. And I get that. But I fully see and hear what you've said. I can run a business page with 80% personal content, 20% business content, and make it engaging that way. I just have to change the way I think about the business page. So this was a helpful presentation. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. I'm glad some of what I rambled on about there came through in a good way. And that was my whole goal, was just to help people think about social media in the new light and how you can apply it. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Everybody should be able to turn their video on if they want to now. Oh, yeah. Awesome. What's up, Miracle Mushrooms? It's good to see you. It's nice to see your face. What's up, Brian B and Renee B? It's good to see you. Mr. Woody, what's up, bud? Welcome, guys. Hey, if you guys appreciated this talk, and if you guys want to see more content like this is entirely Discord driven. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Show Andrew and Samantha that this was good content. If you guys enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. If this works out, you guys enjoy the content, maybe they'll let us do some more of this again in the future. So
absolutely.
Eden Fresh, man, it's good to see you. You're a new person as well, and we've got Miracle Mushrooms are new as well. It's good to see you. Welcome to the voice chat.
Shock is for
Welcome, everybody.
Awesome, man. What a good group. Awesome, guys.
I want to say I really took away when you said making a group maybe for like local restaurants and stuff to be able to like have this kind of talks or whatnot, but like farmers markets. I like actually made like a farmers market community like message, so that way like anytime anyone like needed change or just needed help with food stuff or like seeing if everyone's going to show up because of weather, like we have a community talk for that, so that way like you don't show up and you're like one of the 5 vendors that are there like it's happened before. But I think this kind of thing would be really helpful for like groups like that too.
Oh, Miracle Mushrooms. I can't tell you how many times I'm at the market, like, man, I'm out of ones. Man, I need some ones. You know? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I love that. I mean, that's what it is. It's just about thinking outside the box and finding a way to get involved in the community. And, you know, like even in that situation, you're just the organizer of a group like that, right? But you're still kind of that authority figure of it and able to connect in with those people. So, yeah, anything like that you can think of that adds value to other people, I think that's a home run.
Hey, Chris, quick question. As far as, so I know from a business standpoint, you're dealing with kind of 2 sides of business. You have a service-based industry and you have a product-based industry. As far as standing out, you know, most of us, from what I'm understanding, I'm new to this, we're bringing a product to a market. How can we stand out in a community and, you know, promote our business as a product versus a service-based company, where I came from another company that was service and reviews to where I'm dealing with a product now? What can we do as business owners that is producing a product to do to stand above the rest, I guess you could say?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I think the first thing you really need to figure out is who is your target market? Jesse, I'm going to pretty much give him the same answer I gave you in our one conversation. You know, like you got to figure out who your target market is, right? Like, are you trying to go direct to consumer? Or are you trying to go direct to business owners, restaurants? You know, are you selling at the farmers market? Like, there's so many different things that I think you need to figure out first before you can really figure out what your plan of attack is. And so once you know that, I really don't think that when it comes to social media, I don't think there's much of a difference in promoting between a product and a service, maybe just in the way that you do it, right? Obviously, you know, I always use an example, like I said earlier, we work with a lot of contractors. I tell them, I'm like, if you're not using like before and after pictures and videos and stuff, like you've got the easiest job in the world. Like I can't do a before and after of us working with the client, right? Somebody joked and they're like, oh, you could show me riding my bicycle to the post office and then show me driving like a nice car or something, I guess. But like we can't do that, right? And you can't do that as a product. So that's the only place where it's different is like what you're actually posting. But as far as like the strategies and how to go about it, I think once you know what your target market is and you can like hone in on connecting with those people, the marketing is the exact same. It's just creating that engaging content and doing it in a way that people want to, you know, connect with you and utilize stuff. So I hope, does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that does. And I will say that any of your financial classes or business plans, I look forward to attending. So thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Feel free and connect with me too. Get my info from Jesse. If you have any questions, like reach out. Our website's elitebusinessadvising.com. Connect with us on there. If there's any questions anybody has, you guys want to chat through stuff, if there's anything we can do to help you guys, let us know, and I'd love to have that conversation.
Maybe throw Chris a friend request on Discord so he'll stick around and help us out more.
You may have to remind me to check it occasionally, but yeah.
Discord will remind you.
Yep, perfect. As long as there's a reminder somewhere.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, using the platform, you know, like Facebook Marketplace, should you try and promote from there as well, or stay more on your personal page to keep control of your local business? Or is Marketplace a good place to get out to your market that's not on your personal page?
So in my experience, I don't think Facebook Marketplace is a good place to go advertise like your business offerings necessarily. I view, at least again, me personally, I view Facebook Marketplace more as like a resale place. People are going to sell stuff and furniture and like stuff out of their house. So I can't say I would necessarily go to utilize Facebook Marketplace in that way. But what I would recommend is from your business page, like posting stuff out there. If you know, are running a special, you know, and making people aware of like the products you have to sell through your business page, I think is a good idea. But as far as trying to go actually sell it through Facebook Marketplace, and that might be a great question just for the Discord community as a whole, if anybody's tried that or done that. But my intentions are that Marketplace is more of a resale place than a go to sell your business product place, if that makes sense.
No, that makes absolute sense.
So that's a great question, though.
I can pitch in a little bit on that.
Yeah, please do, Sam.
I will typically post on Facebook Market or Craigslist or any of those whenever I have a bumper crop or a chef that has canceled and I have an excessive amount of mushrooms that I'd like to sell quickly or I can't preserve, and I'll post it up there and it'll be kind of, you know, first come, first serve. I have a certain amount of poundage and you are welcome to it, and I will heavily discount it in order to get it to move. And I'll have someone come in and buy, you know, 4 or 5 cases and then go can a bunch of spaghetti sauce with it. So it's been really successful for me personally, but really only in that instance, not anything consistent, just kind of a, you know, grab and go.
That's a really good point of view.
I'm also being uber quiet because I want everyone else to have a chance to speak as well.
So are there any other questions? Can we wrap it up?
Sam, do you have more questions you want to ask? I mean, you can.
What about the boosted posts on Facebook? Do you think that's like on like the business pages that you can pay like $10 or whatever to get up your views or whatever? Do you think that's a good idea? Do those work like they say they do? It's kind of one of those things I've seen go through my business page, and I'm like, okay, is actually that many people seeing this?
Yeah. So I think that's something you need to trial and error. I think it definitely has a good time and place for it. Again, if you're going direct to consumer for things, I think, that could be a good asset for you. But I think you just have to do it and try different ways and how you boost it and what the content is you're boosting and figure out that sweet spot. So in my opinion, I mean, like you just mentioned, they're pretty inexpensive. So like that's something you could do like 5 or 10, random $10 posts and do some different tests to see like what gets the results on it. I a lot of our clients that are service based, as was asked earlier, we do a lot of the boosted posts, but that works great for like home service stuff, right? When you have an actual product like this, I say try it out a little bit, see what works from it, do some trial and error and figure out, a lot of it really is just what is the content that you're boosting to, right? If you have something put together, a prepackaged, say box of mushrooms that, you're doing for upcoming Christmas gatherings and different things like that people can use, well, then that could be something that maybe makes sense on there to boost out and around for people that are looking for that. I can't personally speak on what people, like how many people out of your, area that you're going to boost it to are actually looking for the product. I think that's really the answer that comes down to it. And again, maybe another great question for Sam or somebody else in the Discord community that's maybe tried that and has a little bit more hands-on experience with it.
I have. Can I jump in here?
Absolutely. You asked me to be here, so you can jump in anytime you want, Jesse.
I've tried the boost on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, YouTube. And it's really kind of amazing because you can target the audience so like refined. If you spend a little bit of time to target your audience for the specific criteria that you're trying to target, it's really kind of amazing. Just be ready because it works and it works really well. And you're going to get a lot of messages and you're going to be overwhelmed with Facebook stuff like that. So and you don't have to spend a lot of money. $35 over a week will just overwhelm your inbox. So be ready for that. Like if you go on Facebook and you say, I want to spend $35 for targeted ads, and you can target it to only chefs and cooks and stuff like that. You can really break it down. They give you the option to break it down. Just be ready because you're going to get a lot of messages and stuff like that. It works really well. One of the things I would suggest though, if you're going to do that, if you're going to build an ad to target with monetary, if you're going to pay for an ad, really make it do it so they know you want to achieve a certain goal. You want people to add your Facebook page, or you want somebody to go to the restaurant and get 5% off. You want to be able to measure the results. Okay, that's one thing that I failed at, and ultimately, whenever I've done this, I just get like 20 Facebook messengers like in the middle of the night, and it's a waste. So give somebody a coupon code to one of your favorite restaurants. Find a way to measure the results of that. So do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think if you're going to do it, especially for what you guys are doing, I think like Jesse said, narrowing it down into I think detailed targeting is what it's considered on there. And like I said, make sure you write your post or your ad in a way that is going to be engaging for people and connect with them to make sense to take action on whatever you're wanting them to achieve.
You can also set like a certain percentage off, just like Jesse said, right? And you can have it within a certain time frame, in the same time frame that you run your ads, and then collect the information. Later on you can open it up and see just how long that ad lasted. We've done that as well. Something else too that we've done is, with the ads, we advertised our CSAs, and like Jesse said, we were not ready for just the amount of people that responded. It was a bit ridiculous. So that was really awesome. But yeah.
Good to hear from all of you. I'm encouraged and terrified to do that.
Also really appreciated, Chris, your shout out to Atomic Habits, because that was a book that I read, and that was that exact habit. And whenever you mentioned eating, that was that exact habit that I had followed, that we always post, Andrew and I, every time we take lunch. It's all right, post for the day. Let's go ahead and just throw them all out there. So you can see that they're all pretty much about the same time. You guys hop on to eat lunch. You're seeing the posts at the same time. So
I love it. I love it. I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that. So thanks for making me feel a little more normal there.
Yeah, having, and I'm an avid reader too. So having that kind of list of things to read, of those consumables that we can just kind of go in and absorb, and that was really nice, that shout out. So thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I've been reading 3 books a month for like the last 3 or 4 years, and that's been a game changer for me and my business. And I obviously tell people, like, I pretty much read for our clients' benefit too, right? I read stuff in marketing books and get ideas to implement with our clients and stuff. So I'm a huge advocate of personal development for sure. So if you ever need books, shoot me a message. I'll give you a whole list of them. So
awesome, guys. We're like a half an hour over time. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube and you've made it all the way to this point to the end, like and subscribe to the Mossy Creek Mushrooms YouTube channel. Show these guys that you really appreciate this content. We really appreciate y'all watching. So I hope y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank
awesome.
you,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Mossy.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Yep.
Good night.
Good meeting you guys.
Thank you.
Out.
I see Miracle Mushrooms. He loves that you're a painter. And then we also have Seth from Mushroom Media Online that just hopped in here late. Seth.
Sorry, I missed it. I had an appointment. My apologies. But I was really struck with what you just said about building the relationships. The thing that I say all the time to my customers is I will gladly sell something to somebody one time. But what I'm really looking for is a symbiotic relationship. If I can basically come up with something to help my customers be successful, guess what? It's just a no-brainer. I'm going to be successful. You can't look at it in terms of you're just basically it's a one-way street. It always has to be both ways.
Yep.
Really
No,
good.
that's a great point of view. I love that. I'll throw one other thought out there. I could do a whole separate presentation on just marketing and not even include social media. But since all you guys are the serious ones still hanging out on here, I'll throw this out there. Every person you sell something to, you should get an email address from, because you can then build a campaign to market to them directly if you're going direct to consumer. So something to keep in mind there. Start building your database now, even if you don't know how you're going to use it right now. Even if you're not sure, start building your database of customers, interested customers, anything now with email addresses, and you can always put together marketing campaigns for them down the road.
So are you available next week to get a chat?
Sure, why not?
Hey guys, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Could you drop and overflow the information to your podcast?
I'll let one of the people that know how to do that go for it.
I will absolutely do that. I will link the Elite Business Advice podcast and the Voice Overflow. You can access it on iTunes and Spotify.
Yep.
And
I appreciate it, Jesse.
I see it on Amazon too.
That's right. It's on Amazon too. Right on.
Yep.
Awesome.
Amazon, Google.
I thought the Amazon.
Pretty much all the big ones.
I tell you what, I've been listening to it. It's good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
got to get back to
Maybe I'll have you.
Y'all have a good evening.
Good night,
Hey, good night,
James.
Mr.
Thanks
Woody.
for
You
stopping
too.
by.
Take care, bud.
Later.
Something earlier on the voice overflow, and that was basically about the branding. He doesn't have a mic, so he can't ask it himself. It was basically about the branding, like in marketing. If you post on, was it Facebook, Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch? Should live streaming be fitted into branding marketing, or is that mostly just kind of for the community?
In my opinion, doing the live stuff's mostly just for the community. I generally like, unless you're really good at being live on social media platforms and being engaging and stuff, I really like doing more like recorded content and then uploading that to the platforms and saving the live stuff for if you're out in the community and highlighting stuff. So there's some people that are just really good at being live on Facebook and interacting with people and taking questions and like doing certain things. But I feel like for every person that's really good at it, there's like 8 people that aren't as good. And I 100% fall into this category that I'm not as good at it as doing recorded stuff. So,
whatever.
See, stuff like this is fine, but like just to get on Facebook and be live and like, hey guys, bring your questions. Like, I don't know. That's just not my thing. So I need human interaction.
It's also a skill that I've seen some people start off really terrible and get much better over time. And so some of that is, if you don't mind sucking for a while, you can
absolutely. Here's
It says fail early and fail often.
yes, 100%. I love that quote.
Find a group of people that like the way you suck.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes. Well,
think
I
we
will
have-
say this. I will say this too. I mentioned Jeff earlier. He always ends his presentations with this quote. I'll share it with you guys. Anybody that's like afraid to be like, oh, I don't have good content or whatever, he says, my crappy post will outperform your non-existent one every day.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I'm like,
yes.
I love that. I love that. It's so true.
That is
You have to
100%
win.
true.
Yeah.
Wayne,
So much yes.
Thank you, Chris, for the presentation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wayne,
Just shoot me a text and we can schedule another one. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Everybody give Chris a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
hey, my pleasure, guys. My pleasure. You guys have a good
Great job,
evening. It was good. It was good meeting a lot of you guys, and like I said, I'm sure maybe we'll do something again in the future. So I'll hop off here, and you guys can keep chatting if you want. But no, thanks again for having me, and like I said, reach out if we can do anything.
You bet. Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Awesome. See you guys.
See you.
Interested customers, anything now with the email addresses, and you can always put together marketing campaigns for them down the road.
So are you available next week to get at chat?
Sure, why not?
Hey guys, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Could you drop in Overflow the information to your podcast?
I'll let one of the people that know how to do that go for it.
I will absolutely do that. I will link the Elite Business Advice podcast in the Voice Overflow. You can access it on iTunes and Spotify.
Yep.
And
Appreciate it, Jesse.
I see it on Amazon too.
No, that's right. It's on Amazon too. Right on.
Yep.
Awesome.
Amazon, Google,
I thought the Amazon.
pretty much all the big ones.
I tell you what, I've been
guys.
listening to it. It's good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
got to get back to
Maybe I'll have you.
Y'all have a good evening.
Good night,
Hey, good night,
James.
Mr.
Thanks
Woody.
for
You
stopping
too.
by.
Take care, bud.
Later.
So real quick, I'm gonna unmute Xando. He just joined, but Zach also mentioned something earlier on the voice overflow, and that was basically about the branding. He doesn't have a mic, so he can't ask it himself. It was basically about the branding, like in marketing. If you post on, was it Facebook, Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch? Should live streaming be fitted into branding marketing, or is that mostly just kind of for the community?
In my opinion, doing the live stuff's mostly just for the community. I generally like, unless you're really good at being live on social media platforms and being engaging and stuff, I really like doing more like recorded content and then uploading that to the platforms and saving the live stuff for if you're out in the community and highlighting stuff. So There's some people that are just really good at being live on Facebook and interacting with people and taking questions and like doing certain things. But I feel like for every person that's really good at it, there's like 8 people that aren't as good. And I 100% fall into this category that I'm not as good at it as doing recorded stuff. So,
whatever.
See, stuff like this is fine, but like just to get on Facebook and be live and like, hey guys, bring your questions. Like, I don't know. That's just not my thing. So I need human interaction.
It's also a skill that I've seen some people start off really terrible and get much better over time. And so some of that is, if you don't mind sucking for a while, you can
absolutely. Here's
it says fail early and fail often.
Yes, 100%. I love that quote.
Find a group of people that like the way you suck.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes. Well, I will say this too. I mentioned Jeff earlier. He always ends his presentations with this quote. I'll share it with you guys. Anybody that's like afraid to be like, oh, I don't have good content or whatever, he says, my crappy post will outperform your non-existent one every day.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm like,
yes.
I love that. It's so true.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
Wayne.
So much yes.
Thank you, Chris, for the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wayne,
just shoot me a text and we can schedule another one. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Everybody give Chris a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. My pleasure. You guys have a good evening. It was good. It was good meeting a lot of you guys. And like I said, I'm sure maybe we'll do something again in the future. So I'll hop off here and you guys can keep chatting if you want. But no, thanks again for having me. And like I said, reach out if we can do anything.
You bet. Thanks, Chris. Have a good night.
Awesome. See you guys.
See you.
Crazy mushroom
So how is it? I missed basically 98.9% of it, or maybe 99.5.
No. You missed all of it. You missed all of it, Seth. You missed all of it.
Can you put it onto a DVD and send it to me?
No, we're not going to do that. No. Seth.
VHS or
come
beta?
over and watch it.
Yeah, that is going to get posted at some point online. Is that how it works?
Well, if it's good enough,
Jesse's going to edit. Andrew's going to edit.
So I recorded the video. There's quite a few mistakes that I made, but I think it's not terrible. So Chris has got some stuff, some edit requests. I don't know. Yeah, we'll try it. We'll see if we can get it uploaded. We'll send it to Samantha and Andrew, and if they think it's worthy of the Mossy Creek YouTube, they will upload it. But if they don't,
they want to put their brand on it.
If they don't deem it worthy, then I'm not going to be too terribly upset, and they give us an opportunity to have a lot of fun. So that's all.
It gives everyone a chance for exposure. It also kind of shows what we're all about here on the Discord. And then additionally, there was a lot of stuff that I gleaned from that I really enjoyed.
Me too.
That was good. Thank you.
Ultimately, Chris Morris, man, that dude was he's rocking it, bro. He's a really great talker.
That's the question you answered. I was pretty bummed out.
What was that? What were we bummed about?
It was late in the overflow.
Oh, Becca, I'm sorry. You do that.
Oh, you had a question?
Goods.
You had a question that Krista missed?
About...
I didn't want to interrupt the talk and talk over people, but yeah.
Oh, man.
I've been in voice chat with you before. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, well, today.
Hey, can I send everybody to the Voice with Music channel? Can we all go over there?
Can you move that many people? Is the Voice with Music working again?
Yeah, it's not really working.
I also want to say Andrew really wanted to be on here, but he has been sick, and he has been going into kind of coughing fits. So we went to the doctor a few days ago, and he has a pretty severe upper respiratory infection. But he really wanted to be here and kind of talk. And in the beginning, he kind of poked his head in and waved, and then promptly left. So.
Jesse, you're like a ninja with this thing.
I'm trying.
I don't know squat about using Discord.
He was present for that shit talking.
Awesome. Yeah, so sorry I sent everybody over here, but it's if anybody else wanted to come in or go, like it's really kind of a hassle to turn everybody's video and voice on, but everybody should have like open privileges here. So, woo!
Just video didn't restore properly. You have like a tiny little sliver of picture, and the rest of your screen is black. Maybe it's just me though.
It is just you.
Look at that orchard fucking Jesse.
He's in portrait mode or something. Yeah.
Seth, it's good to see you, man. I'm sorry you didn't make it till just now.
No. Why are you perpendicular to us?
Why are you perpendicular to me?
Point, Chris, your hair looks good, okay?
My camera's not on, motherfucker.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, he's upside down.
Check the voice on the flow, that. Oh, it's just all bad. You just keep getting smaller and smaller, like whatever. The chocolate factory, man.
Get your shit together, Jeff.